and gentlemen, let's go back to 2002. MTV, Puff Daddy, in the show Making the Band. Let's dive into the background of Making the Band. Making the Band premiered in 2002 on MTV. Puff Daddy set out to find rappers and singers to assemble a hip-hop group. The multiple volunteers trying to get cast on the show. Selected members were Sarah Rivers from Detroit, Michigan, Dylan Dillinger from Brooklyn, New York, Freddie P. Washington from Florida, Rodney Chopper Hill, New Orleans, Louisiana, Lloyd Ness Mathis, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Lanice Babs Wiley, Brooklyn, New York. The members lived together to not only record, but to join together to complete tasks that Puff Daddy assigned to them. One of the most famous tasks was Puff Daddy ordered them to walk from Midtown Manhattan to Brooklyn to buy cheesecake from Junior's. Now I remember watching this, me and my wife watching this just like everyone else, and I was like, the audacity. These guys are trying to get record deals, trying to be polished. They want to be mentored. They want to understand the music business. And freaking Puff Daddy sending these cats out to go buy freaking cheesecake from Midtown Manhattan to Brooklyn, New York. That ain't down the street. Yeah, I just thought it was silly. I thought it was stupid. Why would you even do that, man? Let me keep going. They also were tasked with reciting several rap lyrics at the Bad Boy offices. Now, if you remember, there was so much drama and conflicts and internal fighting during the recording process. They released their debut album, Too Hot for TV, in 2003, selling over 600,000 copies, certifying gold status. The band, as they were called, also dealt with the discrepant financials of the music business. Bad contracts, money taken from them, not reading the contracts, not hiring lawyers. All sides are to blame. Freddie P spoke out against Puff, stating, "It's people like Puffy. He is the main reason why I hate my curse word life." Babs Bunny stated, "I would definitely not say it was my worst nightmare. I would say it was a dream come true. It was dreams coming true with nightmares in and out." Puff Daddy responded with this: "Stop all your crying, curse words, and moaning. Hustle harder or get the curse word out the way." Think about that. These guys and gals are complaining about what happened with Making the Band. It's documented. It's nothing that's being made up. It's all factual. Money was taken from them. They didn't read the contracts. They didn't understand the contract, the language in the contracts. I know the record companies, they're there to make money, and a lot of times they just take money from the artist. But if you're, we talk about trying to be a mentor, a leader, a servant leader, why didn't they sit down and say, hey, line by line, this is what you will receive. Line by line, this is what you guys will receive as a group. Your royalties, your publishing. They don't do any of that. That's why a lot of these rappers from back in the day and now, they don't have any publishing deals. Everything is jacked up because they don't have no trusted confidants to help them understand the language of the contract, to read the contract. So now if I'm in charge of the record label and I got two former members lashing out against me, why would I respond that way, Puff Daddy? Instead of saying, hey, we all made mistakes. How can I make this right? But he tells them to hustle harder, stop moaning, stop curse wording and doing all that. You know what I'm saying? That's just a lack of leadership. And you look at Puff Daddy, all his groups from the past, Total, 112 Mace, all and so on and so forth, Biggie included. All these guys complained about Puff Daddy taking their royalties, their publishing and all that. All of those guys are broke, and he is still rich. So who do you believe? Carry on, Damon. Carry on. Now let's go to where are they now? What are they doing right now? Sarah Stokes, she and her husband had a tumultuous relationship that was documented on the show and divorced as well. She is currently working on her solo career and also appearing on documentaries and reality shows. Freddie P, he contemplated suicide and is currently focusing on himself his career, and his son. Babs Bunny, she has a YouTube channel, Queen of the Ring, that has over 180,000 subscribers and also is the mother of a son. Dylon went on to pursue a solo career. He landed a deal on Akon's label, and he recently released his album, Pain to Power. He also moonlights as a DJ as well. Ness continues to be active on social media and can be found giving interviews on various platforms as well as battle rapping. And Chopper, he had multiple brushes with the law, failed label deals, and currently working on new music. Now let's talk about nostalgic memories. We were stationed at Fort Hood when this show premiered on MTV, and I remember we was watching it. It was interesting. And as I stated before, the whole cheesecake going from Manhattan to Brooklyn, I just thought that was just silly. I just thought it was stupid. But these guys, they was in the house, they all lived together, they worked together, and just like anybody else, whether you love them or hate them, you're gonna have conflict, you're gonna have infighting. Something simple as, hey, I made a sandwich and I'm saving it for later. Why'd you take the sandwich out the refrigerator? Just little things like that. And plus, think about it. These cats didn't know each other from Adam, and all of a sudden they got to live in this one house, share all these responsibilities, household responsibilities, also trying to record an album, trying to write the best verses for this album. In real life, it can be a headache, it could be stressful, it could be painful, it could be mentally exhausting. But if you're on the other side of the TV and you're watching it, you're consuming it because it's entertainment, right? It's a getaway, if you will. But I think about all the band members, again, watching that show. It stayed on for 2 years, and then it went on, was dissolved after that. But you look at these guys here, none of these guys made an impact on their respective careers as it relates to rap, R&B, and whatever. So whose fault is that? Is that Puff Daddy's fault, P. Diddy, whatever you want to call them? Or is it the individual members or those members as a collective? Whose fault is it? You know what I mean? And thinking about, that was almost 20 years ago. Again, watching that, you felt sorry for these cats, because these guys and gals were trying to chase a dream. They wanted a better life. They wanted to make an impact on the music scene. They just wanted to be heard. And so this guy who's a multi-billionaire, he comes along, strings them along, have them doing these little silly things. They did it. Didn't read the contracts. He took advantage of them. Him and his team took advantage of them. It's a great life lesson in that. So that's what I would take as a nostalgic memory. Me and my wife, we enjoyed watching the show. But as I think back 20 years later, it was a great life lesson. That a lot of times, when you're trying to chase your dream and you try to have someone of influence to help you manifest that dream and make that dream a reality, all the while while you dreaming, they conjuring up nightmares and providing you nightmares. You know what I mean? So again, I think everyone is to blame. I wish those guys success and trying to find something, in their lives that's, bringing value to them. But yeah, man, Making the Band, 2002 to 2004. It was a great series. It was a great 2-year run on that show. It was fun. One of the most memorable moments I remember from that show with Dylon. I spit hot fire, Dylon. You got to watch it to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, those guys individually, Dylon, he's all right. But Babs could rap, she could freestyle. Ness was tight. Freddie P was all right too. Sarah could sing and all that. Just imagine if their careers had went another way instead of being with Puff Daddy. Sarah had her husband, the influences of that. Freddie P couldn't escape the street. Ness and Babs and all those guys. What if they end up doing something? What if they did something during that time after they left Puff Daddy? Or if they had went with someone else? How would their careers played out? That's something interesting, to think about. But here's my closing remarks. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching this episode today, this podcast episode of Making the Band. It was fun going back into the archives and digging up the dirt You know what I mean? It's a lot of this story that I didn't tell due to time constraints, you know, but I think you guys got the gist of what was going on during that time. If you remember, you definitely remember. And if you don't remember, go ahead and watch it. It's available on the YouTubes and all those other on-demands when they talking about it as well. And I think they've been providing interviews as well, talking about that time. Tumultuous time, 2002, 2004. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. You know what we say here on the Nomad Cast? A story time is a pastime, because I am here to be heard. Trust and believe.